The Watchtower Bible and Tract Society of Pennsylvania is a non-stock, not-for-profit organization headquartered in the New York City, New York borough of Brooklyn. It is the main legal entity used worldwide by Jehovah's Witnesses to direct, administer and develop doctrines for the religion, and is often referred to by members of the religion simply as the Society. It is the parent organization of a number of Watchtower subsidiaries, including the Watchtower Society of New York and International Bible Students Association. The number of voting shareholders of the corporation is limited to between 300 and 500 mature, active and faithful male Jehovah's Witnesses. About 5,800 Jehovah's Witnesses provide voluntary unpaid labor as members of a religious order. In 3 large Watchtower Society facilities in New York, nearly 15,000 other members of the order work at the Watchtower Society's other facilities worldwide. The organization was formed in 1881 as Zion's Watchtower Tract Society for the purpose of distributing religious tracts. The society was incorporated in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania on December 15, 1884. In 1896, the society was renamed Watchtower Bible and Tract Society. Following a leadership dispute in the Bible student movement, the Watchtower Society remained associated with the branch of the movement that became known as Jehovah's Witnesses. In 1955, the corporation was renamed Watchtower Bible and Tract Society of Pennsylvania. In 1976, all activities of the Watchtower Society were brought under the supervision of the governing body of Jehovah's Witnesses. History. On February 16, 1881, Zion's Watchtower Tract Society was formed in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, United States, for the purpose of organizing the printing and distribution of religious tracts. William Henry Conley, a Pittsburgh industrialist and philanthropist, served as president, with Charles Taze Russell serving as secretary-treasurer. The Society's primary journal was Zion's Watchtower and Herald of Christ's Presence, first published in 1879 by Russell, founder of the Bible student movement. Other early writers for the Watchtower Society included J. H. Patton and W. I. Mann. Formation of the Society was announced in the April 1881 issue of Zion's Watchtower. That year, the Society received donations of $35,391.18. Incorporation. On December 15, 1884, the Society was incorporated as Zion's Watchtower Tract Society in Pennsylvania as a non-profit, non-stock corporation with Russell as president. The corporation was located in Allegheny, Pennsylvania. In its charter, written by Russell, the Society's purpose was stated as the mental, moral and religious improvement of men and women, by teaching the Bible by means of the publication and distribution of Bibles, books, papers, pamphlets and other Bible literature, and by providing oral lectures free for the people. The charter provided for a board of 7 directors, 3 of who served as officers, a president, vice president and secretary-treasurer. The charter stipulated that the officers be chosen from the directors and be elected annually by ballot. Board members would hold office for life unless removed by a 2/3 vote by shareholders. The vacancies on the board resulting from death, resignation or removal would be filled by a majority vote of the remaining board members within 20 days. If such vacancies were not filled within 30 days, an appointment could be made by the president, with the appointments lasting only until the next annual corporation meeting, when vacancies would be filled by election. Anyone subscribing to $10 or more of the Society's Old Testament tracts or donating $10 or more to the Society was deemed a voting member and entitled to 1 vote per $10 donated. Russell indicated that despite having a of board and shareholders. The society would be directed by only two people, him and his wife Maria. Russell said that as of December 1893, he and his wife owned 3,705, or 58%, of the 6,383 voting shares, and thus controlled the society, and this was fully understood by the directors from the first. The usefulness, it was understood, would come to the front in the event of our death. For this reason, also, formal elections were not held, because it would be a mere farce, a deception, to call together voting shareholders from all over the world, at great expense, to find upon arrival that their coming was useless. Sister Russell and myself having more than a majority over all that could gather. However, no one was hindered from attending such elections. The influx of donations gradually diluted the proportion of the Russells' shares, and in 1908 the voting shares constituted less than half the total. Russell emphasized the limitations of the corporation, explaining, "Zion's Watchtower Tract Society is not a religious society in the ordinary meaning of this term." He also stated, "This is a business association merely. It has no creed or confession. It is merely a business convenience in disseminating the truth." Incorporation of the society meant that it would outlive Russell, so individuals who wished to bequeath the money or property to him would not have to alter the will if he died before they did. On September 19, 1896, the name of the corporation was changed to Watchtower Bible and Tract Society. From 1908, Russell required the directors to write out resignations when they were appointed, so Russell could dismiss them by simply filling in the date. In 1909, Russell instructed legal counsel Joseph Franklin Rutherford to determine whether the society's headquarters could be moved to Brooklyn, New York. Rutherford reported that because it had been established under Pennsylvania law, the corporation could not be registered in New York State, but suggested that a new corporation be registered that to do the society's work. Rutherford subsequently organized the formation of the People's Pulpit Association, which was incorporated on February 23, 1909, and wrote the charter which gave the president to be elected for life at the first meeting absolute power and control of its activities in New York. The society sold its buildings in Pittsburgh and moved staff to its new base in Brooklyn. Although all New York property was bought in the name of the New York Corporation and all legal affairs of the society done in its name, Russell insisted on the continued use of the Watchtower Bible and Tract Society name on all correspondence and publications. The move from Pennsylvania to New York occurred during court proceedings over the breakdown of Russell's marriage. His wife Maria had been granted a limited divorce on March 4, 1908, but in 1909 returned to court in Pittsburgh to request an increase in alimony, which her former husband refused. Authors Barbara Grizzuti Harrison and Edmund C. Grass have claimed Russell's move to Brooklyn was motivated by his desire to transfer from the jurisdiction of the Pennsylvania courts. They claim he transferred all his assets to the Watchtower Society so he could declare himself bankrupt and avoid being jailed for failure to pay alimony. In 1914, the International Bible Students Association was incorporated in Britain to administer affairs in that country. Like the People's Pulpit Association, it was subsidiary to the Pennsylvania parent organization, and all work done through both subsidiaries was described as the work of the Watchtower Society. The Watchtower noted, "The editor of the Watchtower is the president of all three of these societies. All financial responsibility connected with the work proceeds from it. The other societies and all the branches of the work receive the financial support. We use sometimes the one name and sometimes the other in various parts of our work, yet they all in the end mean the Watchtower Bible and Tract society, to which all donations should be made. Leadership dispute. Russell died on October 31, 1916, in Pampa, Texas during a cross-country preaching trip. On January 6, 1917, board member and Society legal counsel Joseph Franklin Rutherford, aged 47, was elected president of the Watchtower Society, unopposed, at the Pittsburgh Convention. Under his presidency, the role of the Society underwent a major change. Bylaws passed by both the Pittsburgh Convention and the Board of Directors stated that the president would be the executive officer and general manager of the Society, giving him full charge of its affairs worldwide. By June 1917, 4 of the 7 Watchtower Society directors, Robert H. Hirsch, Alfred I. Ritchie, Isaac F. Hoskins and James D. Wright, had decided they had erred in endorsing Rutherford's expanded powers of management, claiming Rutherford had become autocratic. Hirsch attempted to rescind the new bylaws and reclaimed the powers of management from the president, but Rutherford later claimed he had by then detected a conspiracy among the directors to seize control of the society. In July, Rutherford gained a legal opinion from a Philadelphia corporation lawyer that none of his opposers were legally directors of the society. On July 12, 1917, Rutherford filled what he claimed were 4 vacancies on the board, appointing A. H. Macmillan and Pennsylvania Bible students W. E. Spill, J. A. Burnett and George H. Fisher as directors. Between August and November, the Society and the 4 ousted directors published a series of pamphlets, with each side accusing the other of ambitious and reckless behavior. The former directors also claimed Rutherford had required all headquarters workers to sign a petition supporting him and threatened dismissal for any who refused to sign. The former directors left the Brooklyn headquarters on August 8, 1917. On January 5, 1918, Rutherford was returned to office. In May 1918, Rutherford and 7 other Watchtower directors and officers were arrested on charges of sedition under the Espionage Act. On June 21, 1918, they were sentenced to 20 years imprisonment. Rutherford feared his opponents would gain control of the society in his absence, but on January 2, 1919, he learned he had been re-elected president at the Pittsburgh Convention the day before. However, by mid-1919, about 1 in 7 Bible students had chosen to leave rather than accept Rutherford's leadership, forming groups such as the Stand Fast Movement, Paul Johnson Movement, Dawn Bible Students Association, Pastoral Bible Institute of Brooklyn, Elijah Voice Movement and Eagle Society. Although formed as a business convenience with the purpose of publishing and distributing Bible-based literature and managing the funds necessary for the task, the corporation from the 1920s began its transformation into the religious society. Russell had insisted it was not introducing centralized control and regulation of Bible student congregations worldwide. In 1938, Rutherford introduced the term theocracy to describe the hierarchical leadership of Jehovah's Witnesses, with consolation explaining, "The theocracy is at present administered by the Watchtower Bible and Tract Society, of which Judge Rutherford is the president and general manager. The society appointed zone servants to supervise congregations, and in a Watchtower article Rutherford declared the need for congregations to get in line with the changed structure. Amendments to charter following Rutherford's death in 1942, Nathan H. Knorr became president of the Watchtower Society, and subsequently introduced further changes to the role of the society. At a series of talks given in Pittsburgh on September 30, 1944, coinciding with the society's annual meeting, it was announced that changes would be made to the 1884 charter to bring it into closer harmony with theocratic principles. The amendments, most of which were passed unanimously, significantly altered the terms of membership and stated for the first time that the Society's purposes included preaching about God's kingdom, acting as a servant and governing agency of Jehovah's Witnesses, and sending missionaries and teachers for the public worship of God and Jesus Christ. The new charter, which took effect from January 1, 1945, included the following changes: an altered and expanded explanation of Article 2, detailing the purpose of the Society. This included the preaching of the gospel of God's kingdom to all nations, to print and distribute Bibles and disseminate Bible truths with literature explaining Bible truths and prophecy concerning the establishment of God's kingdom, to authorize and appoint agents, servants, employees, teachers, evangelists, missionaries, ministers and others to go all the world publicly and from house to preach Bible truths to persons willing to listen, by leaving with such persons said literature and by conducting Bible studies thereon, to improve people mentally and morally by instruction on the Bible and incidental, scientific, historical and literary subjects, to establish and maintain Bible schools and classes, to teach, train, prepare and equip men and women as ministers, missionaries, evangelists, preachers, teachers and instructors in the Bible and Bible literature, and for public Christian worship of Almighty God and Jesus Christ, and to arrange for and hold local and worldwide assemblies for such worship. An amendment to Article 5, detailing the qualifications for membership of the Society. Each donation of $10 to the Society funds had formerly entitled the contributor to one voting share. The amendment limited membership to only men who were mature, active and faithful witnesses of Jehovah, devoting full-time to performance of one or more of its chartered purposes, or such men who are devoting part-time as active presiding ministers or servants of congregations of Jehovah's Witnesses. The amended article stipulated that a man who is found to be in harmony with the purposes of the Society and who possesses the above qualifications may be elected as a member upon being nominated by a member, director or officer, or upon written application to the President or Secretary. Such members shall be elected upon a finding by the Board of Directors that he possesses the necessary qualifications and by receiving a majority vote of the members. The amendment limited membership at any one time to between 300 and 500, including approximately 7 residents of each of the 48 states of the U.S. It also introduced a clause providing for the suspension or expulsion of a member for willfully violating the Society's rules, or becoming out of harmony with any of the Society's purposes or any of its work, or for willful conduct prejudicial to the best interests of the Society and contrary to his duties as a member, or upon ceasing to be a full-time servant of the Society or a part-time servant of a congregation of Jehovah's Witnesses. An amendment to Article 7, dealing with the governance of the Society by its Board of Directors. The amendment deleted reference to adherence to the Constitution and laws of Pennsylvania of the U.S. It also specified powers of the board, including matters of finance and property. An amendment to Article 8, detailing the office holders of the Society and the terms of office and method of appointment of officers and directors. A clause stating that board members would hold office for life was deleted. The new clause provided for board membership for a maximum of 3 years, with directors qualifying for re-election at the expiration of the term. Governing body. In 1976, direction of the Watchtower Society and of the congregations of Jehovah's Witnesses worldwide came under the control of the governing body, reducing the power of the Society's president. The Society has described the change as one of the most significant organizational readjustments in the modern-day history of Jehovah's Witnesses. Following the death of Noah in 1977, and subsequent presidents of the Watchtower Society have been Frederick W. Franz, Milton G. Henschel and Don A. Adams. President's Operations. The corporation is a major publisher of religious publications, including books, tracts, magazines and Bibles. By 1979, the Society had 39 printing branches worldwide. In 1990, it was reported that in 1 year the Society printed 696 million copies of its magazines, The Watchtower and Away, as well as another 35,811,000 pieces of literature worldwide, which are offered door-to-door by Jehovah's Witnesses. As of 2013, the Society prints more than 43 million of its public issues of these magazines each month, totaling over 1 billion annually. The Society describes its headquarters and branch office staff as volunteers rather than employees, and identifies them as members of the Worldwide Order of Special Full-Time Servants of Jehovah's Witnesses. Workers receive a small monthly stipend with meals and accommodation provided by the Society. The Bethel family in the Brooklyn headquarters includes hairdressers, dentists, doctors, housekeepers and carpenters, as well as shops for repairing personal appliances, watches, shoes and clothing without charge for labor. The Society files no publicly accessible financial figures, but reported in 2011 that it had spent more than $173 million that year in caring for special pioneers, missionaries and traveling overseers in the field service assignments. Donations obtained from the distribution of literature is a major source of income, most of which is used to promote its evangelical activities. Author James Beckford has claimed the status of voting members of the Society is purely symbolic. He said they cannot be considered to be representatives of the massive Jehovah's Witnesses and are in no position to challenge the actions or authority of the Society's directors.